Hey guys, what's up? It's Liz, and today I have a hopefully not too emotional video for you. This is going to be my concert recap of 2017. I went to a lot of concerts this year. I sat down and counted it all out. I went through like all of my Instagram pictures and all of my photos in my photo album on my phone just to make sure I got every single concert. I went to 23 concerts this year, all of them being with Sam, Jesse, and Liz. Maybe not all three of them at the same time, but one of them were at least at every single concert I went to, if not all three of them. For the most part, all three of them were there. 23 may sound like a lot to some people, or it may not sound like a lot to other people. It was a lot for me, but not in a bad way. This was a great year. As far as concerts and tours go and the things I did on these tours and the people I met, I don't think this year could have gotten any better, and I don't think any other year is ever gonna top it. So without further ado, we'll just hop right in. I have a list so I can go down in order and tell you guys what I went to. We're gonna start in January and make our way to December. So without further ado, let's hop into my concerts. Starting off the year in January, me, Sam, Jesse, Liz, and our friend Zach, I don't know if you remember, this was almost a whole year ago already, and it makes me really emotional. We flew to Phoenix, Arizona to go see the Maine at their 8123 Fest. So the festival was obviously the Maine for their 10-year anniversary, and then they had the Somerset, they had Beach Weather, A Rocket to the Moon came back and did a little reunion, which was phenomenal. But there was a ton of other bands, John the Ghost, so John's other side project, Ryan Scott Graham from State Champs, he came and performed his Speak Low If You Speak Love, his side project away from State Champs. Yeah, so many more people, I just can't remember. Honestly, that was such a crazy week and I kind of just forgot everything. If you guys didn't watch my vlogs, or even if you did, you would have seen we met up with Brianna, Wandering Brianna, here from YouTube, Sophie Tag, here from YouTube, Paige Backstage, also here from YouTube. Essentially, Liz and I got to meet all of our YouTube friends, and it was the most memorable weekend, and I don't think anything can ever top that weekend. It was the best weekend I've ever had. As I'm talking here, I'll insert pictures, but we left Omaha Thursday, so we got there in the morning Thursday. Friday we just kind of hung out. Saturday was the festival, and Sunday was the Maine's free meet and greet, whatever. But it was amazing. Like I said, we got to hang out with all of our friends, and it was just so fun, especially have our friend Zach there, because it was fun to have a guy in the group. And then Paige's boyfriend Aaron, he was there also. So luckily we had Aaron to hang out with Zach a little bit, so they weren't the only guys. But yeah, that was the only thing we did in January, and it was phenomenal. At that point in January, I was like, this year's gonna suck. After this, nothing can be better than this. February rolled around. Well, actually, the fest was at the end of January. So as soon as we got back to Omaha, literally that next week, Jesse and I went to Ariana Grande and Little Mix here in Omaha. And then Liz and I went to go see 21 Pilots and John Bellion, which was actually the same week. So that was freaking awesome. One of my things I remember most about 21 Pilots and John Bellion, this was my second time seeing the both of them. And they're two of my favorite artists. One of my favorite bands, one of my favorite artists. So to see them on tour together was phenomenal. And one thing I remember the most is 21 Pilots, John Bellion, and then Judah and the Lion. They were also one of the openers. They all came out and did a cover of Where's the Love by Black Eyed Peas, and it was I don't even have anything to say. It was phenomenal. I don't think I have any pictures or videos from either of those concerts. It was a big arena show, so I wasn't very close and I didn't have very great pictures for you guys. And I'm sorry. But that's all we went to in February. So as soon as we got back from the fest, the next week, the very beginning of February, we had those two concerts, and then didn't have anything for the rest of February. March rolls around, and Liz and Sam and I, Jesse wasn't there, so Liz and Sam and I, we went to go see Bad Sons. They were here in Omaha, and that was amazing. It was the first time I've ever saw them, and I don't have any pictures of that, but it was so cool. It was at a little bar downtown. Well, it's a bar/concert venue, and normally if it's a big show, it'll be actually on the big side of the bar, where the actual stage is. And if it's a smaller show, they'll do the show at the front of the building, just at the little small stage by the bars. And that's where it was. So it was a really close and intimate show, but it was so upbeat and so fun. I don't know if any of you ever seen Bad Sons, but they were phenomenal. Like I said, it was my first time, and now I am set. Anytime they're in Omaha, I will go. And then, kind of funny actually, Liz and my friend Emily and I, we went to go see JoJo. Liz convinced us to go. Well, Emily kind of wanted to go, and Liz didn't have anybody to go with. So I was like, I'll go with you. And then Emily was like, well, wait, I kind of want to go. So then me, Liz, and our friend Emily came. And I don't have any pictures from the show, but I have pictures of us there. So there's that for you. I'll show you. That was just a picture of us in a candy store downtown before we went. But that show was wild. It was cool to see like Too Little Too Late and Leave Get Out live, because those were like really, I almost said influential songs on my life when I was little, but they weren't influential at all. They were just really relevant when I was growing up, so it was cool to see those live. That was it for March. Moving on to April, I only had one show. Me, Sam, Jesse, and Liz, you know, our little squad. We rolled up to Des Moines, Iowa, which is like a 2.5-hour drive. It's not too far, to see State Champs. This was their tour that they went on with Against the Current and Don Broco and With Confidence. They were there. That was great. I have some videos from that show for you guys. To start the show off, we were like second row. And then I convinced a guy in front of me to let me get front row for With Confidence, because they were like my favorite band at the time. And I was like, I swear I will give you your spot back, but please let me just have barricade for this. It was pretty amazing. I don't really feel the same way about that band anymore now, but it was cool at the time. But luckily I moved back. Like I just said, I switched back to second row once State Champs came out. I got some really great videos of them, so I will insert those for you guys. How many stories have you told? Like I said, State Champs, they were lit. I never really listened to Don Broco or Against the Current before that, but they were pretty fun to watch. They were really energetic. I still don't listen to either of them. I really just went for State Champs and With Confidence, and it was a great show. Moving on to May, I did not know that the month of May would have such a big impact on my life. I will never forget this day. It was May 5th. Liz and I went to Lincoln, which is maybe like 45 minutes west of Omaha, so it's still in Nebraska, not too big of a travel. May 5th, we went to go see As It Is, Rome, Grayscale, and Sleep on It on a OK USA tour. As a joke, before the concert even happened, not really as a joke, so what had happened was Liz wanted to go because she had really been listening to Sleep on It and she was really into them, and she was like, okay, cool, let's go see them. And I was like, great, because I've really been into Grayscale. Like, it was right when the both of them just like started, got really big, right at the beginning of the year, right when they were both starting to blow up. And I was like, okay, I've really been into Grayscale. Yeah, let's go. Like, of course I'm not gonna miss this. Neither of us really listened to Rome. I mean, I know one song by them, which I absolutely love. And then As It Is, like, is a band we both know. We're not like in love with, but we don't hate them. Like, we like them a lot. But mainly we wanted to go for Grayscale and Sleep on It. So like 2 weeks before the concert, kind of as a joke, but not really as a joke, but like just tweeting it to see what they would say, I tweeted Grayscale, like the Grayscale Twitter account, and I was like, hey, you trying to go get donuts from the best donut place in Lincoln while you guys are here? Because there's this place called Hertz Donuts, and I don't know if any of you have ever been to like a Voodoo donut, but like Hertz Donuts in Lincoln is essentially the same thing. Like really wacky, fun flavored donuts, like with cereal on top and like a s'mores donut and just weird things like that. And then like immediately, I swear to God, within like 5 minutes, somebody on the Grayscale Twitter account responded and was like, oh yeah, sure, your boys love donuts. So I was like, all right, guess me and Liz are gonna go get donuts with Grayscale on that day. So we were really looking forward to it. The day comes, they follow through, they didn't like ditch us or anything. Liz and I get to the venue, and then all of us two and then Grayscale, we all walked to the donut place, we got donuts together, and it was lit. Like, they were just really genuine people. And then we walked back, the show started. Throughout the show, I remember Nick, Grayscale's bassist, there's two, there's Nick the drummer and Nick the bassist. Their bassist like came up and was like, how you guys enjoying the show? Like, they kept checking up on us. I know Dallas did it once, which was so nice. And I don't know, it just genuinely felt like we became friends with them, and they were so sweet all night. And at the end of the night, like after the show was over, Nick, the bassist, was like, are you guys leaving soon? Don't leave. We want to hang out and talk to you for a little while. And we're like, okay, yeah. And he's like, we have to get a group picture before we go. So we all got group pictures. I got one with them, and then Liz got her own separate picture with them. And then Liz's fun half of the story, like I said, she wanted to go to the show to see Sleep on It. So we walked in, it was before the show started, but we were in the venue. And we were over looking at Sleep On It's merch. I remember specifically we saw the Sleep On It pillowcase. And she was like, "Ha, now you can like actually sleep on it." Like she thought she was so funny, made the funniest joke. I thought it was hilarious at the time, but like looking back on it, both of us are like, damn, that was pretty funny, but kind of like so cheesy. Anyways, I think it was AJ that was running the merch table, and then Jake was like off to the side, and AJ was like, "Oh, I don't have the square," because Liz wanted to buy something, and he was like, "I don't have the square, like the card swiper." He was like, "Let me go get Zach," which, as you know, or maybe don't know, Zach's the lead singer. So he walked away, went to go get Zach. Zach came back, and Liz and I just kind of made small talk with Zach, and then we started talking to Jake, and we both took a picture with Zach and Jake. And again, with them, we just like clicked. It just felt like it wasn't weird. With us in these bands, it wasn't like we were huge, like giant, big fans. So like when we saw them, we were starstruck. It was like we went, kind of knew their music, barely really knew who they were, like didn't know anybody's names in the bands. We went, and then like we just clicked with them, like we're friends. It didn't start, I felt like it was so natural from the beginning, because it wasn't like I said, like a big fan and just like the band, like starstruck. I don't know. Like that's how I would be if I met All Time Low. Like I would never be able to make friends with All Time Low. I just couldn't do it. But meeting Grayscale and meeting Sleep On It, it was so natural, and like we're just friends now, because I don't know how to explain it, but if you guys know what I'm saying, that's what I'm saying. So after that show, the show was phenomenal. We hung out, but that day was also Grayscale's album release day for Adornment. So they did like a fun little acoustic session outside, which was awesome. And we just hung out with them all night, and it was just a great night, and I'll never forget it. So after that show, I mean, we were just like friends, which is weird, but we were. The very next day, Liz, Sam, Jesse, and I drove to Chicago. We saw the Maine on their Lovely Little Lonely tour. We decided we couldn't miss this opportunity. It's the closest show that they had to Nebraska for the Lovely Little Lonely tour, so we had to go. And that was my first time in Chicago, and it was amazing. And from that weekend, I was like, I know I'm gonna come back, and we'll talk about it later, but Liz and I did go back, so that's awesome. That tour was at the House of Blues in Chicago, and it was the Maine, Beachweather, and the Mowgli's. Let me just tell you, if you ask Sam, Jesse, or Liz, I'm sorry this is so mean, but listening to the Mowgli's put me in the worst mood I've ever been in my life. I was so pissed off. I do not like them. I physically almost like left standing there. Like I just could not listen to them, but I didn't want to lose my spot. I just couldn't do it. I don't know. Beachweather came on, and then little did I know that was going to be my last time ever seeing them live, because they're not a band anymore. And then of course the Maine. To make me feel less alien, I do not think I would be here if not for them. See all them nights in shitty bars and rolling up in taxi cars or on our backs under the stars as we sang. Then the next day, we went and traveled, we saw the Bean, we did all the touristy things, and it was just great. So then we went home, and then at the end of May, Liz, Sam, Jesse, and I went to go see the 1975 back in Lincoln. So again, just a little 40-minute drive, nothing too crazy, but that was awesome because I had never seen them before. None of us had ever seen the 1975 before, so we got to see them. Hey, baby. In June, we just had one concert. It wasn't anything too special. A band, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of them, In Her Own Words, and then Northbound, they went on tour together. So we went and saw them. I think I knew one song by each of them, but I just thought it'd be fun. It was a cheap, small show, so we were like, let's go. That was about it. Nothing too crazy happened there. I need to stretch for this one. As we get to July, you guys, I thought that Grayscale show in May had the biggest impact on my life, but July was crazy. In June, back in June, Liz decided she wanted to surprise me with All Time Low meet and greets for their Last Young Renegades tour. So as we started July, I think the first weekend, July 15th was that first weekend, Liz, Sam, Jesse, and I went to Kansas City to go see All Time Low on this tour. And that's when we did our meet and greets. Liz and I had meet and greets, and Sam and Jesse didn't. So they dropped us off for meet and greets and drove around. Maybe, I don't know what they did because I wasn't with them. And they eventually met us back at the venue. I mean, they weren't sitting next to us, but Liz and I did meet and greets, and I'll insert pictures as I talk about it. You can ask Liz. I got so emotional this whole weekend. What kind of friend buys you meet and greets to go meet your favorite band who you've seen 8 times that you've never met? Well, I guess this was my 8th time seeing them. I don't know, it was just such a memorable weekend. After meet and greets, we obviously rushed into the stage area. We got barricade. It was my first time, like I said, this was my 8th time seeing, no, actually this was my 7th time, because I just kept always saying 7 times a charm, you know, like lucky number 7, whatever. We got barricade. It was amazing. I fell in love with Swimmers at that date, and I was like, man, Swimmers is such a cool indie punk, like, rock band. Like, I'm never gonna see them. They're never gonna come to Omaha. Like, I'll never see them again. Whatever. Like, I got meet and greets. It was the best day of my life. We went back home to Omaha after that. Then the next weekend was Warped Tour Chicago. So I think that's like the 21st and 22nd, whatever that weekend was of July. Here's where the story gets fun. So Liz and I didn't know where the heck we were gonna stay for 3 nights in Chicago, because, like, when we stayed downtown Chicago in a hotel for 1 night for the main, that hotel was ridiculously priced, and I wanted to shoot myself. It was so expensive. So me and Liz were so stressed, and we're like, where the hell are we gonna stay? And luckily, like I said, Liz and I became really good friends with Zach and Jake from Sleep On It, and they're a band from Chicago. Like, they live in Chicago. So when we were thinking of places to stay, we were like, let's ask Zach and Jake. Like, not even like asking them if we can stay with them, but like, let's ask them where they think we should stay. Like, what would be cheap for 3 days in Chicago? And Zach goes to Liz. He's like, you guys can just stay with us. And we're like, what the heck? Are you serious? Like, okay. So we get to Chicago Friday afternoon, like evening, maybe 3, 4-ish o'clock, whatever, to Zach and Jake's house. They lived, it was Zach, Jake, their friends Mary, Katie, Katie's boyfriend, and I think there was another roommate, but we never met him because I think they said he was in another band or something, and they were on another tour, or I don't remember what he said. But there was another roommate, we just never met him. So we get there. They call their house Twerk Mansion. We show up to Twerk Mansion. We meet all of these people. We're like, okay. Zach gives me and Liz a little tour around where they live. They don't live in Chicago. They live in Logan Square. So he's walking us around Logan Square. We got pizza. And then we came back, and he's like, okay, well, I have to go to work now. Here, hang out with our friend Mary. Mary's like sitting on the couch. Like, she just sleeps on their couch. That was her bed in Twerk Mansion. And this is going to sound so weird, but like, Liz and I already knew who Mary was. We had never met her, but we knew who she was through Twitter. She is one of Zach and Jake's best friends, obviously because it's their roommate, but she's just, I don't know, they always tweeted about her. So like, going into this, we knew who she was. So Zach's like, okay, I'm going to leave. I'm going to go to work. Leaves me and Liz with Mary. And we're like, okay. I instantly, the both of us, we fell in love with her. I swear to God, you guys, Mary is the most down-to-earth woman I have ever met in my life, and talking about her right now makes me want to cry because I miss her a lot. Oh my God. This is pathetic. Mary, I swear if you're watching this, I love you so much. And like, in that moment, we knew. We just loved her. I'm getting emotional. Fuck this. But anyways, we were just talking just about everything, like what we do for jobs, blah, 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 like everything. Getting to know each other within like an hour. And Mary's like, hey, me and Jake and our friend Katie, who was their roommate, but I hadn't met her yet. She was like, me, Jake, and Katie, we're gonna go see All Time Low tonight. All Time Low is in Chicago. Like, they were playing in Chicago that night. And I looked at Liz, like, we didn't know this going into this. We found out right then, and I looked at Liz, and Liz looked at me, and we're like, okay, we're going. So I went to a second date on that All Time Low tour with Liz and my newfound best friend, Mary, and Katie. Once we finally got to the show, I met Katie, and just like Mary, the same like loving, free-spirited soul. I just fell in love with them. I've never known so quickly that I loved somebody. Like, I don't know. And then Jake was there also, so I got to see Jake again, which was great. And then all 5 of us Ubered home together. It was pouring. We were walking down the street as it was pouring rain. We got in the Uber soaked, and honestly, we all looked disgusting. But I got to see All Time Low with like somebody who I just like fell in love with and instantly became my best friend. And I'm so happy I met them. But then the next day, anyways, before I get any more emotional, the next day, that Saturday, was Warped Tour Chicago. So Liz and I did our own thing, and we went off and then came back home and had a really great night after that. Like, we were having so much fun at Warped Chicago, but Liz and I were like, I just want to go back home and hang out with Mary and Zach and Jake and Katie. Like, we just wanted to leave and go back home. So we left Warped at like 4:30, maybe 5 o'clock, and went back to Twerk Mansion to hang out with our pals.
I love that the boy that was so against it is now our #1 digger.
What can I say? I said it went.
But yeah, then the next day, that Sunday, Liz and I had to leave. And it was so emotional. We literally left Chicago and we cried for like an hour and a half in the car. Like we couldn't even look at each other. We didn't talk. We were silent. We did not look at each other because if we looked at each other, we saw each other crying, then we cried more. But leaving Chicago that weekend was the most emotional thing that has ever happened to me. And if I love Omaha, Nebraska, but if I were to ever leave, I would go to Chicago because I feel like a little part of my heart stayed in Chicago when I left. I don't want to cry, but I miss them so much. Like I said, that day in May when we met Sleep On It, I never knew that meeting them would change my life so much. And that sounds so ridiculous, but I met some of my favorite people in the whole world because of them. So yeah. Anyways, moving on. And then we went back home, and the next weekend, Liz, Sam, Jesse, and I, and our friend Zach, you know Zach, he was at 8123 Fest. We drove back to Kansas City for a second work tour. We met our friends Dylan and Alex there. I had actually not met them, but I had found out who they were from last year's Warped Tour, 2016. I saw a tweet, and then we just became friends, whatever, internet friends. We hung out with them, and then Warped Tour Kansas City was on a Thursday. So then Friday, Sam and Jesse went home that night after Warped Tour. But Friday, me, Liz, Zach, and then Dylan and Alex, we all went to Worlds of Fun, which is an amusement park in Kansas City. And then we stayed in Kansas City till Saturday or Sunday. I don't remember, but it was a great weekend. I love those boys so much. They're like Liz and I's little brothers. They're either 18 or 19. I don't remember. 18. They're like Liz and I's little brothers, and I just love them so much. This is funny because I just got so emotional about like meeting Mary and Katie and being with Zach and Jake again. And now we're getting to August when I had like one of the best days of my life, literally. So as we go into concerts in August, I don't know if any of you know, but I have a boyfriend now. His name's Hunter. I've had him for a while, actually. It'll be 5 months in January, so... I had been talking to Hunter for a while, since like May or whatever, and through these months I found out that Green Day was one of his favorite bands. He doesn't really listen at all to the same music I do, but he listens to Green Day. Green Day is one of his favorite bands, so I can relate with his music taste there. Green Day mixes with what I listen to, and I know Green Day. In August, I found out that Green Day was coming to Omaha, and I was like, what better way to surprise? We weren't dating yet. We were not dating. I just really, really liked him, and I knew that this was just gonna be the catch that made us date. I just knew it. Green Day was coming to Omaha, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna surprise Hunter with Green Day tickets. Like, I've got to do it. The concert was on a Saturday. Literally Friday, I texted him. I was like, do you work tomorrow night? Don't make plans if you don't. Like, we are doing something. Like, I have a surprise for you. I never told him what it was. Saturday evening came. I was like, hey, make sure you eat dinner before we go because dinner is not scheduled into my agenda. I picked him up like 5:30, 6 o'clock, and we just started driving. I didn't tell him where we were going, but we were driving downtown, and he literally did not catch on to what we were doing until we pulled into the parking lot of the arena, and he was like, oh, like, it was so funny because on the way there, I was like, play whatever music you want, and he was like playing Green Day, and he was talking about Green Day, and he was talking about how he had friends going, and how, I don't know, he just kept talking about Green Day, so I just figured he like knew, but wasn't like acting, like he was just acting like he didn't know. I don't know. But I was so scared the whole time. I was like, God damn it, he knows, like, it's not even a surprise. But we pulled up into the parking lot of the arena. He goes, oh my God, we're going to the Green Day show? He's like, what are we doing here? And I was like, yes, they're going. I had tickets for us. They were such cheap tickets. I don't know how I got them so cheap. I got so lucky. We were like side stage. I'll insert a picture. I don't have any videos from that night or any pictures of me and Hunter. I just have this one picture, which pisses me off so much. But the way I talk about All Time Low and the way I act at like All Time Low concerts was Hunter at Green Day. I would like kept looking to my right at him the whole night, and it just made my heart so happy because he was genuinely so excited. Like, he knew every word to every song, and it just really made my heart happy. I don't know, this is so cheesy. That night, Hunter and I started dating. Score! That was a really great night for me. It was so cool. I'd never seen Green Day before. I never thought I would ever see Green Day live, but it was awesome. After being a band for 30 years, you really learn how to put on a good show. They were phenomenal. But yeah, thanks to Green Day, I scored a boyfriend. Thank you. But moving on to my other concert that I went to in August, Jesse works at a radio station, like a local radio station here in Omaha. So whenever there's like concerts that are promoted by the radio station, Jesse can always get free tickets for it. So Coldplay was here and Jesse got me and Blake tickets. So me, Blake, and Jesse went to go see Coldplay. I think I have a picture. I don't know if I have a video or not. If I do, I'll insert it for you guys. That was lit. Coldplay's another band I didn't think I would ever see. They were phenomenal, and they gave us all bracelets, like LED bracelets that went along with the music, and it was so cool. September rolled around. Liz and I went to go see Ed Sheeran. It was funny. It was me, Liz, my Aunt Lindsay, who you guys know, and then my manager. Her name's Jamie. Liz used to work where I work, like before I worked there, so Jamie and Liz knew each other. Liz knows my aunt, obviously, because she does her hair, and she's just my aunt who I used to live with, so Liz knows her, and my aunt loves that Liz more than she loves me, I think. And then there was me. So it was just a funny group of people, I think. All four of us went to Ed Sheeran. That was amazing. Liz and I got really drunk. We kind of don't remember it, but that's okay. The more important part is that we saw him, right? We don't remember it, but we were there. That was the first time Liz has ever like actually been drunk, so I kind of felt bad, but like whatever. And then the second and only other show that we went to in September was at the end of September. Me, Liz, Sam, and Jesse went back to Lawrence, Kansas to go see Grayscale on their tour. It was the 4 Year Strong tour, so it was Grayscale, Life Lessons, Seaway, and 4 Year Strong. We went for Grayscale, and I really enjoy Seaway, so I was happy to see them. So Grayscale was there. It was nice to catch up with them. Nick, their bassist, I'd say out of everyone, I'm probably the closest with him. I feel like, we still don't talk much, but if I like have to look up to him, like thinking of Nick, I feel like he's a brother to me, like he's a big brother, and I just love him so much. He's just a great guy. He's so nice. All of them are, honestly. They all give the best hugs. They're just so sweet. But anyways, that was the other show we went to in September. October rolled around and we went to the Knuckle Puck Movements with Con and Home Safe show back in Lawrence, Kansas. So a few weeks later, we were back on our bullshit in Lawrence. I can't believe I just said that, but really we were. Like, are we ever gonna stop traveling for concerts? No. But me, Sam, Jesse, and Liz went to that. It was lit. I crowd surfed a lot. Thought I was gonna die. I took another picture with Pat. That was my third picture this year with him. I really love him. Movements has slowly become one of my favorite bands ever. But yeah, that show was awesome. It was so cool. I don't have anything else to say about it because I have a lot of clips I think that I can throw in for you, but yeah. Another show me, Sam, and Jesse went to. Liz did not go because this is not her cup of tea. And not ours anymore either, actually. We went to go see Hoodie Allen. This was our fourth time seeing him. And I think we are all collectively over Hoodie Allen. I still love him as a person, but I think we're over it. And then to end October, I know you probably saw my vlog about it. Liz, Sam, Jesse, and I went to St. Louis to see the Maine for their Halloween show. We could have gone on October 30th to Lawrence, which was so much closer. Lawrence is only 3 hours away, but instead we drove 6.5, almost 7 hours to St. Louis just to see them on Halloween. Just to see them dress up in ZZ Top costumes. Literally no other difference except a costume, but that's what we went for. And also, if you did watch my blog, you know we met back up with Brianna again. So it was kind of fun to go full circle. We started the year with Brianna and sort of ended the year with Brianna, both with the Maine. So that was awesome. We had a fun weekend. Like I said, I have a vlog about it, so I'll link it. If I have vlogs for any of the shows I talked about, I will link them down in the description box. And then to end it off, my last two concerts were in November. November, we had Sleep On It. We went to the As It Is, Chapel, and Sleep On It show. Well, and Water Parks, they were there too. But we went for Sleep On It and As It Is. Obviously, mainly for Sleep On It to go hang out with Zach and Jake. And we both, Liz and I, finally got to meet the rest of the band. We met Teddy and AJ. Actually, we didn't meet Luca. Liz had already met Luca, I think, briefly. at Riot Fest when she went in September. Anyways, I got to meet the rest of the band, which was lit, except for Luca because he wasn't on this tour because of his shoulder. So we got to hang out with our pals, and it was really sad leaving them again. I hate leaving Zach and Jake. It makes me really sad. I've decided they're my least favorite people to leave. Not that I like leaving anybody, but if I could choose friends to stay with for the rest of my life, it'd be Zach and Jake and like their Chicago crew. Saw As It Is again, that was cool.
Husband Zach from Sleep On.
Like Sleep On, it's good friends with As It Is because they've been on tour together already. So it was so fun to hang out with like Zach in the crowd and watch him watch As It Is. Like he was just so funny. And then I saw Chapel for the first time and I fell in love with Chapel. If you watch another one of my videos, I don't know when it's going to be up in correlation to this one, but I've filmed a vinyl update and I bought Chapel's vinyl at the show and it's a Friday and it's so cool. But yeah, the last show I went to in November, I guess for the whole year because I didn't do any this December. The last show I went to was in my hometown, which never happens. I finally got to go to a concert in Omaha and it was my favorite band. Out of the blue, like I said, Jessie works at the radio station 98.5. She texts me and goes, 98.5's having a, not me, but she texted our group and was like, 98.5's having a holiday show. It's gonna be Fits in the Tantrums and All Time Low. And we're like, what? And that was like back in August, maybe she told us. Like we've known about it for a while. But finally, the end of November came along, November 26th. It was a Thursday. I went and turned up hardcore for All Time Low in Omaha. I cannot believe I ended the year seeing my favorite band in my hometown for the third time that year. I've never like followed a tour. So to see All Time Low on the same tour twice was cool. And then to have them come to Omaha was awesome because they literally haven't been here since like 2013, I think. It's been a long time. So it was so awesome. And yeah, that was my last concert for the year. And it was just amazing. And this video is almost at 40 minutes long. So now that I've gotten really emotional, almost cried, almost maybe puked a little bit because I was so emotional, I think it's time for me to end this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you even watched all the way to the end, this was quite pathetic if you ask me. I'm never gonna film a video this long again. Let me know in the comment section down below what was your favorite concert or favorite tour you saw this year. If you went to multiple dates of a tour, who your favorite band was that you saw this year, if you found any new bands this year because of tours, just let me know everything. I want to hear your mini concert recap down in the comments, so let me know. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I feel like I've been talking a mile a minute and it's so nice to just breathe, but I had to talk fast because there was so much to get through. 23 concerts. But yeah, I am finally done, you guys. And on that note, thank you for watching and I will see you next time. Bye.